My friend, there comes a moment in every believer's life when ordinary faith must rise into extraordinary expectation. A moment when you stop asking for blessings and start commanding the provision that already belongs to you. You were not created for lack. You were not designed for struggle. You were shaped, formed, and anointed for abundance, increase, and supernatural breakthroughs. Let me tell you this truth today. Your words carry a power far, far greater than most people realize. They are not just sounds that come from your mouth. They are spiritual instruments, activating forces that move beyond the natural world. When we talk about breakthroughs, especially at the level of abundance, increase, and supernatural provision, we must understand that nothing begins in the physical realm. Everything begins in the unseen. And the bridge between the unseen and the seen is your voice. Whenever you speak with intention, especially words rooted in faith, you are not merely expressing your thoughts. You are issuing commands into the spiritual atmosphere. You are setting in motion currents of divine activity that begin to shift, arrange, adjust, and carry what belongs to you into manifestation. Breakthrough is not an accident. It is a response to your words, a response to your faith, and a response to your spiritual authority. Most people speak passively. They speak from fear, from frustration, from lack. They complain about what they do not have. They repeat what circumstances show them, and they magnify the problem. What they don't realize is that these words bind the hands of the spiritual forces assigned to help them. Words of doubt shut down the pathways for increase. Words of weakness disrupt the flow of provision. But when you shift from speaking what you see to speaking what you believe, everything changes. Your mouth becomes a weapon. Your voice becomes a force. Your declarations become instructions to heaven. When you speak faith-filled words, bold, confident, unwavering words, you send out a spiritual signal, and that signal awakens the help you cannot see with your eyes. It calls forth resources that are already in existence but waiting for your command. It summons people, opportunities, connections, and ideas that are divinely aligned with your purpose. Every time you say, provision is coming, the atmosphere begins to rearrange itself to fulfill that declaration. Every time you say, doors are opening for me, unseen hands begin turning hinges and unlocking pathways. Every time you say, breakthrough is mine, the forces assigned to your life move into position to bring that breakthrough into reality. Your words determine what you attract. Your words determine what you allow. Your words determine what you experience. Speaking faith doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means choosing a higher truth over temporary conditions. The natural realm shows you what is. The spiritual realm shows you what can be. And your words decide which realm you will live from. When you speak defeat, you empower defeat. When you speak lack, you strengthen lack. When you speak fear, you invite fear. But when you speak abundance, you call abundance. When you speak favor, you activate favor. When you speak provision, you command provision. This is why you cannot afford to speak casually. Every sentence you release is a seed. Every declaration is a construction plan. Every word is a signal that either builds your breakthrough or blocks it. You cannot plant seeds of doubt and expect a harvest of abundance. You cannot plant seeds of fear and expect a future of prosperity. You must speak with intention, with clarity, and with conviction. When you wake up in the morning, your words should set the tone for the day. Speak the kind of words that make the spiritual realm respond. Say things like, my life is aligned with abundance. Sources are tracking me down right now. I walk in supernatural provision. What belongs to me is moving toward me now. And these are not empty statements. They are commands. They are spiritual instructions. And when spoken with faith, they cannot return void. Breakthrough listens to your voice. Provision moves when you speak. Angels respond when you declare truth with boldness. Your future begins forming the moment you open your mouth in faith. You don't wait for things to change before you speak differently. You speak differently so things can change. This is the secret many never learn. Your breakthrough begins with your words. Your $1 million increase, your supernatural supply, your destiny shifting abundance. It all starts with the sound coming out of your spirit. Speak as if heaven is listening, because it is. Speak as if things are already changing, because they will. Speak as if your words carry power, because they do. Your voice is the launch pad for your breakthrough. Use it boldly and watch what begins to unfold. Your provision is not something you chase. It is something already written into the blueprint of your destiny. Long before you ever felt the need, long before you ever prayed the prayer, long before you ever faced the challenge, the supply was already prepared. What most people fail to understand is that divine provision isn't created when you ask for it. It already exists. It has already been assigned. It has already been established in the unseen realm, waiting for the right moment, the right mindset, and the right level of faith to bring it into your hands. You were never meant to live life wondering if there will be enough. You were never designed to walk under the weight of scarcity, fear, or uncertainty. The spiritual system under which you operate was built on abundance, overflowing provision, and supernatural supply. Lack is not your inheritance. Struggle is not your identity. You are connected to a source that cannot run dry. But here is where most people get stuck. They think provision is something they must earn, fight for, or somehow deserve. They see abundance as something external, something distant, something reserved for others, something difficult to obtain. In reality, the provision waiting for you is not based on your effort, it's based on alignment. It manifests when you align your thoughts, your words, and your expectations with the truth that has already been established for your life. Imagine a treasure with your name written on it, fully prepared, fully funded, fully complete, yet locked away behind a door that opens only when you believe it is already yours. This is how divine provision operates. It does not appear when you try harder. It appears when you believe deeper. When you live with the awareness that your provision is already assigned, your entire posture changes. You no longer pray from desperation. You pray from certainty. You no longer speak from anxiety. You speak from authority. You no longer approach life hoping things might work out. You move forward knowing that everything you need is already on the path ahead of you. Instead of worrying, you begin expecting. Instead of questioning, you begin receiving. Instead of doubting, you begin standing firm. This shift from striving to receiving is the key to experiencing supernatural breakthroughs. Because when you understand that the supply is already there, you stop blocking it with fear. When you understand it's already yours, you stop delaying it with doubt. When you know that provision has been assigned to your life, you open the door for it to manifest. Every opportunity, every resource that you will ever need is already aligned with your purpose. Nothing is missing. Nothing is lacking. Nothing is delayed. It is all prepared, timed, coordinated, and connected to the journey you are meant to walk. Your job is not to create the blessing. Your job is to receive the blessing. Your job is not to manufacture abundance. Your job is to align with abundance. Your job is not to worry about the how. Your job is to trust the who. The moment you shift your mindset from I hope provision comes to provision is already mine, you unlock a level of peace that cannot be shaken and a level of confidence that cannot be intimidated. You begin to move differently. You begin to think differently. You begin to speak differently. And because of that, you begin to attract differently. Provision comes faster to those who expect it. It comes stronger to those who believe it. It comes visibly to those who already see it in the spirit before it ever arrives in the natural. The truth is simple yet powerful. You are not chasing blessing. Blessing is chasing you. You are not running after opportunity. Opportunity is looking for you. You are not striving for breakthrough. Breakthrough is already positioned in your future. You step into manifestation not by force but by faith, not by effort but by alignment, not by desperation but by revelation. When you understand that your provision is already assigned, you stop living like a seeker and start living like a receiver. You stop living with uncertainty and start living with divine assurance. You stop living from the outside in and start living from the inside out. Everything you need is already yours. Everything assigned to your name is already prepared. Everything destined for your life is already waiting. All that remains is for you to step into it with boldness, confidence, and unwavering belief. There is a realm of divine assistance that many people never tap into simply because they do not understand how it operates. They think breakthroughs happen only through effort, chance, or human connections. But there is a higher system at work, a supernatural network designed to support, protect, and deliver the resources assigned to your destiny. This system moves through spiritual messengers, divine agents that respond not to fear, not to desperation, but to faith. These messengers are always near, always ready, always positioned to help, yet they do not act without a signal. And the signal they respond to is not noise. It is faith spoken with authority. When you release words filled with conviction, trust, and expectation, you activate forces that have been waiting for your instruction. They listen for the tone of certainty. They respond to the language of belief. They move when you speak as someone who knows the truth, not as someone guessing or hoping. Many people pray, but they pray from a place of weakness. They speak blessings, but mix them with doubt. They ask for provision, but worry about whether it will happen. This creates confusion in the spiritual realm. It is like giving a command and then canceling it moments later, but when your heart is aligned, your voice is steady, and your faith is settled, the response becomes immediate. There is no hesitation, no delay, no resistance, only movement. Angels move on the frequency of faith. They are not persuaded by tears or fears. They are activated by the confidence that comes from knowing who you are and what has been promised to you. When you declare increase, they begin arranging circumstances. When you speak favor, they influence hearts and decisions. When you command provision, they start shifting resources in your direction. Their assignment is to carry out the words of faith spoken from your spirit. Your declarations shape the path before you. When you speak boldly, you create highways for breakthrough. When you speak with authority, you tear down barriers that once stood in your way. When you speak with certainty, unseen forces begin to gather what belongs to you. You become a conductor of spiritual activity, your words directing the flow of divine movement. This is why silence can be dangerous. When you stay quiet, you surrender your authority. When you withhold your declarations, you leave your future unshaped. When you allow fear to seal your lips, you prevent the forces assigned to help you from moving. Faith must be spoken to be activated. Confidence must be expressed to be effective. Breakthrough must be declared to be released. Understand this deeply. Spiritual messengers do not act on confusion. They act on clarity. They do not act on half-hearted whispers. They act on unwavering commands. They do not act on fear-charged speech. They act on truth declared with boldness. Every time you speak with faith, you release a command into the unseen realm. You authorize movement. You initiate delivery. You empower divine help. You give permission for what belongs to you to begin making its way toward you. This is not a fantasy or spiritual poetry. This is a law. A spiritual law that has operated since the beginning of time. A law that guarantees that faith-filled words will produce faith-filled outcomes. A law that ensures that when you align your voice with truth, divine assistance is dispatched. So speak with authority. Speak with certainty. Speak with the confidence of someone who knows that help is already assigned, already present, already waiting for your command. The moment you speak boldly, things begin to shift. The moment you declare truth, pathways begin to open. The moment you release faith, messengers move. Your voice sets the spiritual realm into motion. Your faith gives direction, and your authority releases the help that brings your breakthrough into manifestation. $1 million breakthrough does not start in your bank account, your business, your connections, or your opportunities. It starts in your mind. What you hold inside creates what you experience outside. This is the truth many overlook. They pray for increase, but think like people who expect loss. They dream of abundance, but carry beliefs shaped by limitation. They speak of overflow, but imagine scarcity. And you cannot carry a small mindset and expect a large blessing, because the blessing will always shrink to the size of your belief. The mind is the gatekeeper of your destiny. It accepts or rejects what enters your life. If your mind cannot imagine more, your life cannot receive more. If your mind cannot believe greater, your hands cannot hold greater. Every major breakthrough first appears as a shift in your inner world before it ever becomes visible in your outer world. Think about people who rise to extraordinary heights. Before their success manifested, they saw it within themselves. They talked like it, walked like it, carried themselves like it. They did not wait for success to show up before adjusting their identity. They changed their identity first, and success responded to that change. Your mindset is not just a collection of thoughts. It is a spiritual container. It determines how much abundance, influence, and opportunity you can carry. If the container is small, even a big blessing will overflow and slip away. But if you enlarge it through faith, vision, and belief, you create space for greater provision. This is why transforming your mindset is not optional. It is essential. It is the foundation of every breakthrough, every shift, every elevation. $1,000,000 breakthroughs do not come to a person who thinks in hundreds. They come to someone who has stretched their thinking to match the size of their assignment. They come to someone who has trained their mind to expect more, believe more, and prepare for more. $1,000,000 mindset is not birthed in comfort. It is trained through discipline. It is shaped through daily declarations. It is built by feeding your spirit more truth than the lies of your past. It requires you to confront the beliefs that told you you're not enough. You can't do it. You don't have the ability, and replace them with beliefs rooted in identity, purpose, and spiritual authority. Small thinking is the enemy of overflow. It convinces you to settle for less, dream smaller, hold back, and delay your potential. It tells you to fear the unknown, but a large mindset, an abundance mindset, sees possibility where others see limits. It sees opportunity where others see obstacles. It sees growth where others see risk. The truth is, the world around you is shaped by the world inside you. When your internal dialogue changes, your external experience follows. If you constantly think in terms of lack, life will mirror lack back to you. If you think in terms of expansion, life begins to open in ways you never imagined. The universe responds to the size of your belief, not the size of your need. So ask yourself, what are you believing about yourself? What do you think you can achieve? What do you think you deserve? What do you think is possible for you? Because these answers are writing the script of your future. $1,000,000 mindset speaks boldly and without fear. It does not shrink itself to make others comfortable. It does not measure itself by past experiences. It does not wait for someone else's approval to dream big. It is rooted in the conviction that you are meant for more, created for more, equipped for more. This mindset thinks in terms of expansion, not limitation. It expects divine ideas, supernatural opportunities, and unexpected provision. It sees every challenge as a setup for growth and every delay as a preparation for increase. It refuses to think small, speak small, or live small. And here's the powerful part: the moment your mindset expands, everything connected to you begins to expand. Your vision stretches. Your decisions improve, your habits shift, your energy elevates, your words change, the people you attract change. Suddenly, doors that once seemed closed begin to open. Resources that once felt far begin to draw near. Solutions that seemed impossible begin to appear. This is why you must constantly grow your inner capacity. Read things that stretch you. Listen to messages that